All right, my man. State your name. Let them know you on Real Talk with Nick.
Hi, my name is Devontae, and I'm a huge Knick fan. I've been a Knick fan for maybe a decade, so I'm not too much of an old head, but I know a little bit about the Knicks.
And that's what's
Um,
up, man. And you on Real Talk with Nick, man. Can't forget that. We're going to jump right into it, man. I like the sweater, man. You got the hoodie on with the New York Knicks logo. How that came about, bro?
so I went to a Knicks game about 3 weeks before the postseason started. I went with my girl, just to go to a Knicks game, see the energy. It was my first time going, so
So how was it, man?
it was a great time. The energy was great. We won the game, so that was really cool. And it was packed, it was loud, and they played well, so I was excited.
Now, before we jump into your MSG experience, right? I would like to know, is it different from watching the game at home from going to a live game at the Garden?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's definitely different because there's so much other aspects to like a basketball game that you don't see on TV. You know what I mean? Like the half times, the timeouts. There's always something entertaining like on the court that's happening. So I think that part is like really underrated in terms of going to a game. But also like the crowd is louder. Just seeing the players in person actually doing their movements is so much different than seeing it on TV. It's kind of like a video game instead of like seeing it like eye to eye. You know what I
Up
mean?
close and personal.
Yeah, so I think it's different that way, and I just feel like it just seems like they're more talented in person because you're seeing this with your own eyes. This is real life, bro. Like they're making these shots in real life, and I think that's crazy because a lot of the time you see it on TV and you're like, oh, how'd you miss that shot? How'd you do that? But you see it in real life, and it's like, yo, these guys are serious, bro.
Okay. So now it's time to jump in, man. Who impressed you in live action, man, as far as these Knicks players? Who was you impressed with? Start off with Julius Randle. You've seen him up and close, right?
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, though, because that Heat game was the game that he got injured, and he was actually out for the rest of the season. So I only saw him for like a couple minutes. So I didn't get to see a lot of Julius Randle, to be honest, because the one game I went to, he got hurt.
Yeah, but before he got hurt, man, was he cooking in your eyes? Did you see some things that...
Yeah, it was all right. It was like the first quarter, with like ISOs. He had one fadeaway jump shot that was pretty cool to see. He takes a lot of tough shots, like a lot of difficult shots that a lot of people in the NBA don't take. So I think that's pretty cool too. But Julius Randle is good. He's one of our stars. I'm not gonna say he's the best player because my guy is Jalen Brunson, but we definitely need him, and he definitely showed up. So it was cool to see him.
Okay. Now, as far as the JB show, Jalen Brunson, man.
Right.
When you heard he was leaving Dallas, was you one of the skeptical ones that be like, I don't know if this is going to work? Was you making excuses to...
I'm not going to lie. I didn't think he was that guy, like straight up. I mean, I thought he had potential because he played really well with the Mavericks in the series against the Warriors and like that entire playoff run. But I was definitely skeptical. I didn't think he was going to be like this, leading us to the playoffs.
But why? Was he doing this thing in Dallas?
Yeah, I think it was just because maybe I didn't pay enough attention to Dallas to see him completely. I only saw that series against the Warriors.
And the fact that he played behind Luka.
Yeah, so I didn't take him as serious. He wasn't in discussions of things. Everything surrounding that team is just Luka. So you don't really hear about all the other players that are there or why that team was actually good and went to the Western Conference Finals, But I think that reason and... because there were just so many other names out there. Like I think a big name that we wanted to get and that we thought was going to get was Donovan Mitchell. So I think my mind was kind of on that, and I was like, oh, Jalen Brunson. That's kind of like, I don't think that's our guy. I think that's like the next piece maybe, but I don't think that's like our guy.
So how do you feel about him now?
I definitely have more faith in him. I definitely trust him. It's hard to say that he's like that guy when you think about the actual guys like in the NBA winning championships like Giannis, Steph, LeBron, Kawhi, KD. Is he up there with them? Like that would be crazy to say he's up there with them, but I think he's getting there. He's young, and he's proven me wrong so far. So you never know.
So let's talk about what he's done to make doubtful Knicks fans backpedal and retract their statement. So you ready to retract your statement as far as the JB show, as far as how he demonstrates what a floor general should look like.
Right.
Some say we haven't seen a point guard in Jalen Brunson since Stephon Marbury, like a bona fide point guard. So you was at the game live. What did JB show you on the court, man? That was quite impressive in your eyesight as a Knicks fan.
He just controls the game. Like, he's completely in control of the game. There's times where, we may seem like hectic, or like the other team is going on a run, and then JB just does like a get out of my way type thing, goes into the post, gets a bucket, and just shifts the momentum. It's like his control when things are getting out of hand, and especially when it comes down to late in games. Like, he's smart. He really thinks a lot. He makes the correct passes, and he's a bucket getter for real. Like, he just gets a bucket, and he doesn't turn the ball over a lot when the time matters. So I think his play when people seem to shake or not know what to do, I think that's the biggest impact that he has on this team.
That he has.
Yeah.
Without Jalen Brunson, you think the Knicks would have been this successful?
Absolutely not. I mean, we've seen what the Knicks were when they didn't have an elite point guard. I think his impact is obvious. It's clear. It makes Julius Randle's life easier because he has a playmaker. It makes RJ Barrett's life easier because he has a playmaker. It makes everyone's life easier because they just have someone who can get you the looks that you need and who can control the game. So I don't think they would be as good as they are now at all.
No?
Nah.
Okay, remember, Knicks was 4th seed. I mean, it was the bubble. Some say that's not really a bona fide playoff berth, when we clinched the 4th seed and we wound up losing to the Hawks 3-1. If we had Jalen Brunson when we was the 4th seed going against the Atlanta Hawks, think that series would have been different?
I think it would have been different, but I don't think it would have had the impact that maybe he's having now, because I'm thinking of JB 2 years ago, not JB now. I think he was a different player than he was 2 years ago. I'm not entirely sure that he can do what he's doing exactly now, so I wouldn't trust him to take them over that hump. I think they still lose that series, to be honest. Maybe in less games, maybe in 2, or maybe in 6, or maybe in 7, because Trey Hawk and the Hawks, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals that year. Like, they were balling, they were playing well, and I don't see any doubt that Trae Young would do that again in that case. But it will be closer, I think.
Okay. Now I want to talk about JR, man. We just touched on him just on a little bit. Is he an all-star? Of course, on paper, because he made it to the all-star. But is he... Damn, y'all, I got to back up, y'all. We got a squirrel right here that's just like...
They get comfortable with me.
They get comfortable with Knicks fans, right?
It's crazy.
Shit, god damn, man. They feel safe, man. They know what's about to happen.
They're home.
Yeah, they're at home, shit. Let's get on it. The squirrel is like, whoa. Damn, I can't even... Look, we got to push through this. Julius Randle. Superstar in the making?
I think he can stay at an all-star level as long as he has the right pieces around him. I don't think that I don't see another leap above this current leap, like to the leap that I'm talking about with like the top 5 players that I've mentioned before. But I think he could be a great player for a long time. I think he could be a championship piece for a long time. As long as he keeps doing what he's doing. He's tough. He works hard. So I don't see any reason why he couldn't be successful. But I don't think he's leading a championship team like as the first guy,
Are you a Julius Randle fan as far as him being a Knickerbocker for the long haul? Or do you think he's just good for right now? This is the controversy when we speak of Julius Randle. Like, everybody knows he's a decent player. But he's the only player I know that can score 57 points, have 40-plus games, and a Knicks fan would say, get him out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want him.
Right.
He's good for now. Like, oh, man, this is where Knicks fans is torn, man. As a Knicks fan, we want chips. In order to be a dynasty, right, we got to start young, right?
Right.
Randall's somewhat, this is his, 8th year?
Yeah,
something like that. So, he's not part of the youth core, but he got enough experience to somewhat get you over the hump. But yet he ain't that elite player either that can totally take over a game.
Mhm.
Like without Jalen Brunson, you saying he's not that guy.
Right.
So he can't lead the Knicks.
I think I don't think, but I wouldn't say that because of that he shouldn't be here for the long haul. You know, because you can have pieces that are not the first guy that haven't been here for the long haul. Like, what's an example of that? Pieces that haven't been here for the long haul. I don't know. Like you think of the Lakers, like AD hasn't been there for the long haul, but he's still a piece. You know that you would want to keep. You know, he wouldn't lead it by himself. You know, he still needs help, but he's a piece in that. Even though, like this year, he may not be a piece. Like he's that guy this year, but during a championship run, it was LeBron. You know, but you still need those pieces. You don't always have to go for the home run hitter every single time because you always need pieces around that home run hitter. And I think he could be a piece around that home run hitter.
Okay. What do you say to those who say, all right, the position that he plays brings a conflict of interest? Because although, you know, when he has the accurate help and a point guard like Jalen Brunson who could feed the rock to him, keep him from turning the ball over, which makes him more of a power forward than a unquote point forward, you know?
Yeah.
Which is not even a basketball position, but you heard, you know, point forward when a forward plays like a point guard, and the one was the most successful at that was Anthony Mason, but that's a whole other discussion when we talk about Nick great plays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't want to get off the train of thought I was on. I don't know, man. You said he's good for the long haul. He could be a piece towards the long haul. I'm asking about the conflict of interest when you got somebody like Obi who plays the same position, but he's not getting the adequate minutes that some would like to see him have. Some's crying out, Obi need more minutes. But we got Julius Randle, who's a seasoned player.
Right.
So you're going to go with him more than you're going to go with Obi. But if he's not a youth core player, I don't know. It's like catch-22, man. Like because you know where I'm getting at, man.
Yeah.
Do you sacrifice not playing Randle to see the growth in Obi come about? That's what I'm saying. Because
it's tough.
Because Obi he's a youngin.
Yeah, you want to play him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's where I'm getting at. That's where the conflict of interest coming at when we speak of Randle, man.
Yeah, that's a hard decision. I'd give it maybe a couple more years. I wouldn't do anything drastic now because they're rolling right now. See if it could work. See how far you could get with both of them together. Because you know we're still in the process of all this. You never know what could happen this year. You know, that might make you want to think, oh, we need both these guys in a way, and we got to find a way to play them both together. Kind of like like a Steph Curry, Jordan Poole. Like, yeah, they're kind of. He's like Jordan Poole is kind of like the heir to that throne, but you still need both of them to win. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there could be a situation like that they can figure it out with the minute distribution and whatnot, and learning how to play together and not just like, oh, Julius plays and then Obi plays. Like, how can we play these two together?
How important is Obi to this organization? You feel as a fan looking in
to the organization.
To the fans.
Oh, to the fans? I think Obi is very important. I think he's definitely important because we want young guys. We like young guys to play hard. He's athletic. He plays the right way. You know, he does all the things that like a 3-and-D guy should do, plus like his athletic ability on fast breaks. He's the energy guy, you know, and you always need an energy guy for like those type of teams.
Yeah.
So I think he's really important. I wouldn't want to let him go.
Yeah, and so you saying his upscale is his fast breaks?
I mean, I think that's one of his things that he hangs his hats on. You know, his athletic ability, definitely.
Does he remind you of a player in the past? I mean, that where you could say, you know what, if he stay on top of his game, work hard, stay healthy, he can have a game like.
I think of like. Who jumps a lot. I think like an Andrew Wiggins type player, but with less of the isolation less of the mid-range pull-ups, but someone who you can trust on the defensive side, hopefully, because he's long, he's big, he's a good wing player, and because of that athletic ability, he has that capability and potential to be like a great defensive player, and make shots when he has to. He doesn't have to be the person who has the ball all the time in his hands, but he can feed off those guys who do.
Okay, all right. Moving right along. Your boy R.J. Barrett, man. Talking about boy RJ, man. I mean, woo! This off season, everybody was talking about him possibly getting traded to bring in Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Now we playing against Donovan Mitchell. Do you feel like we made the right move to hold on to RJ? Do you feel like RJ is a disappointment, or do you feel like RJ is just going through the humps? And these are just growing pains for RJ. Like, where you at with RJ, man? You gave up on him?
Nah, I'm definitely still a supporter. Because he's one of the dudes we drafted. He's the longest guy we've had and drafted in a long time. Like, he's been with us for a while.
By the way, he still averages 20 points per game. That's what's crazy. Yeah. But if you look at him sometime, damn, it's hard to watch.
Like the guy or not, But I like that they didn't trade him from what I've seen right now, because we have what the Cavs don't. We have a bench, you know what I'm saying? And if we did that trade, we wouldn't have as much of a bench as we do now. Like, even in this past playoff game, Jalen Brunson played 31 minutes, Julius Randle played 33 minutes. Those are pretty those are calm numbers, especially for Tom Thibodeau, someone who plays his starters all the time. We wouldn't be able to do that if we traded for Donovan Mitchell, gave up all of these pieces, and then all we had was JB, Donovan, and Julius, and they got to play 40. Now they're getting tired, and, it's a team effort. I think that's an advantage that we have over the Cavs, and that will show when we win the series.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And how important is coaching, man? I like to throw that in there sometimes, man. Because sometimes, coaches can fuck up the game, too. They don't take a guy out when he's supposed to be out, rest him up. Or the guy is hot, they taking him out. Favoritism, like. As far as Tom Thibodeau, man, I mean, are you high on his coaching ability, man?
I don't have any honestly, I don't have any reason not to. I know he has this he always plays his starters all the time. Like, he has that against him, or we're not, because that's what happened to Chicago Bulls, and Derrick Rose. But I feel like because he has this bench now, maybe he doesn't have as deep as a team as he's always had, and I feel like he has been utilizing that, at least in the playoffs, because coaches, you always see coaching different in the playoffs. That's completely different in the regular season. Like, they actually do different things. They may do different rotations, different defensive schemes. So I think what I saw in game one, at least, was pretty good in terms of the minute distribution. I think that's a good sign, to be honest. And there's been times where you don't have the best coach and you still end up winning. So I feel like he's good enough, because you had Mike Budenholzer in the Bucks, who I think is not good at all, who won a championship with Giannis in that squad. So I think it's possible. I think it's important, but I think you can also be carried as a coach.
Okay. And we about to close out, man. 2 more players, man. I want to start with actually 3. We'll talk about Mitch, Josh Hart, a.k.a. Gorilla Glue.
Mm-hmm.
I call him the Gorilla Glue because he kind of put the pieces together. You feel me? Like he made the defense, talk to me. Let's start with Josh Hart, man. How important is Josh Hart, man?
I mean, he changed the team this year. He completely changed the team when he got traded immediately. He brings a different dynamic of consistency, always working hard, always trying for those loose balls. He's a scrapper guy who just does everything that a lot of people don't want to do. He hits the floor, and I think that's important because it brings a different energy to the team. Like, yo, we're really trying to do this. I'm working hard. We got to work hard out here. We can't get lazy. And I think that's something with the old Knicks team, that at least when things would get difficult or whatnot, maybe the other team is going on a run, maybe you see their heads down or they're not as energized as they once were. And I think Josh Hart is like that, like you said, the glue that says, yo, we got to still do this, and he leads by example in his play.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Is he gritty like Doc Rivers, man?
Like Doc Rivers, gritty.
Yeah, we talking about hustling for the ball. I mean, remember the play when, I don't know how old you are, but it was a play when Doc Rivers went for the ball and chipped his tooth on the court.
Right.
Diving for the ball. Like he mind you that type of player, like he'll just.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he definitely is that type of player. I've never seen him not dive for a loose ball. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was in Portland, even when he was on the Pelicans, he was always that type of player. I feel like he's one of the best role players in the league. You know, and it's crazy that we got him for what we got him for. But I think he can shoot the ball. He's good defensively. And he always gives 100%. I think that's all you really want in a bench guy, you know?
Okay. Mitchell Robinson as a big man in the center, man. What would you like to see more from Mitch?
In terms of Mitch, I think maybe a little bit more of a low post game. Like maybe be able to trust him a little bit more offensively and not have to rely on Julius or Jalen Brunson all the time. I feel like he can provide a different dynamic. It doesn't have to be a crazy offensive type game, but I feel like, and I know there's a thing in the league where the bigs can always catch lobs and play defense, and that's kind of like all you really need in a way. But I think of other bigs like Zubac, for example, or Jokic, who have like this little soft touch or a little post game. You know, it doesn't have to be nothing crazy. I think he can add that and really make this team a lot better. You know.
Okay. And last but not least, IQ. And man, you quickly, man. Is he the go-to guy when things ain't going right with JB? If you need to sit JB down, can the man you quickly, can the baton be passed to him and can he just accelerate and do what needs to be done? Or do he still needs more of that Derrick Rose tutorage, man? Because, you know, Derrick Rose is the hitting coach. He's the coach within the coach, you know, sitting on the sidelines, you know, playing that Gerald Jack role, some would say. You know, I mean, give me your input, man.
I like IQ. I think he's great. He's the perfect energy guy. I mean, I think he's sixth man of the year. He's my sixth man of the year. So he can shoot. He's really good. I think he could be that guy, man. I believe in him. I think it's important to always have like these young players who are not afraid to just like let it fly. And you always need like that player who can you just say, "Oh, you got the green light, go take over," you know. And he's comfortable doing that, you know. Sometimes you just want to get a bucket. You just need bucket getters sometimes, and I think IQ is a bucket getter.
Bucket getter.
Yeah.
I know I said that was the end, but I'm gonna squeeze one more player in, man, because I feel I don't give him much light. Quinn Grimes.
Quinn Grimes is good. I think the best thing is his defense. You know, I mean, he can score too, but what he brings mostly is his defense, which you always need. He's like one of those wing players that every championship team needs. You know, so yeah, he's strong, he's big, and I like Quinn Grimes. I didn't expect him to be this good either, but I feel like we got a lot of young players that we're kind of growing in ourselves, which I really like about this team, man. Quinn Grimes is one of those young players that I think we need to keep on grooming, you know? He's going to be great.
Okay. Now, how far you see the Knicks going in the series with the Cleveland Cavaliers, man? Coming out victorious? We're going to see a sweep? I mean, what we talking, man?
I got them winning in 6 or 7. 6 or 7.
Look, one or the other, man.
I'll say 6.
Put the money down, man.
We're going to beat them in 6. We're not going to let them go back home for 7. That's crazy.
You going to beat them in 6?
We're going to beat them in 6.
All right, and as far as the championship, you know, as far as seeing the barricades up in New York, you know, policemen out here, you know, because we got Knicks fans acting rowdy. We ain't throwing television sets out. We throwing these Knicks haters out this time. You know, when the Knicks lost the championship in '99, there was television sets being thrown out. Now we might throw out some haters if we take this shit all away, bro. My question to you, bro, is it possible for the Knicks to be victorious all the way? And if so, who's the team we got to get over the hump to be that successful? Who's the team we got to beat in the East?
You know what's crazy? My initial thought was the Bucks, but Giannis just got hurt. And if Giannis is hurt, I don't see them moving past. So it comes down to the Sixers and the Celtics. And honestly, I like our chances against the Sixers and the Celtics. I don't know what our series.
How bad is Giannis hurt?
How bad is he hurt? I'm not entirely sure how bad he's hurt, but he didn't. He got hurt in the first quarter and then come back in for the rest of the game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. So you saying if Giannis is not able to continue up to the level he's known to play at, the Knicks can very well take it off.
I do, because I had the Bucks coming out before because I don't think the Knicks are beating Giannis in a series if he's healthy. But I mean, we played the Sixers and the Celtics, and we've played well against them. We've had good games. We've won games against them. So I think we match up well against them too. So I don't see any reason why we couldn't. I think the East comes down to those 4 teams.
Right.
And with Giannis, one of those teams is gone.
So
I like our chances.
Without Giannis in the way, Knicks could easily be in the finals. You stand on that?
You saying easily is crazy, but I think they could do it. I think it's possible if Jalen Brunson keeps playing the way he's playing, and everyone locks in defensively, and Julius Randle has good games. I don't see why not. If we keep controlling the boards like Mitch and Julius does, then we're good. I don't see. I'm gonna believe. I don't see why I wouldn't believe. You know.
And that's all you got to do as a Knicks fan. Believe, man. That's it, man. That's what it's all about, man.
Right.
The more you believe, the more you start seeing shit orange and blue out this bitch. Everything's orange and blue. Everything. And we out, man. I want to thank the youngin for coming on Real Talk with Nick. We in the heart of Harlem, y'all. I'm feeling that motherfucking logo right there, man. Look at that shit.
It's nice, bro.
Oh,
Thanks,
shit. Bro. Eat your heart out, y'all.